Okay, I'm just going to riff it here. Just going to riff it. First, I'd like to dedicate this video to, at the time of this recording, my one and only subscriber, Daniel Clinton. Hey, thanks, dude. Hey, you left a comment recently? Hey, thanks, dude. All right, then. VIP status for life, guaranteed, early adopter. Hopefully that means something someday. Anyway, I want to kind of go on about some topics emerging in the Crimson Desert sphere that I've seen recently. The first being this scale-slop idea, which you can see here in the video, is absolutely true. Just look at the scale-slop. Look at that. Look at the light hitting the terrain there. Garbage. Total garbage. Nothing to see here. Nothing worth going to. Why would you even play this game? Is the implication when people are saying this game is scale-slop, that it's a vast but empty world with nothing to do? I don't know. How did I spend 100 hours in Hernand and I've only just began to digest Payloon and this game is empty? I don't know. I don't know about that. If I'm able to spend 100 hours in one area, well, doesn't seem that empty. But anyway, I'd like to preface the rest of this video with this idea of slop, this term that keeps being thrown around ad nauseum at this point, right? Just all the time you're seeing a new new type of slop. Now we've got scale-slop added to the list. This very nonchalant, smug, self-satisfied way of speaking about bigger concepts, oversimplifying them, because God forbid you attempt to articulate your thoughts. If you do that, you're thought slopping, bro. Don't thought slop, because it ain't that deep. It ain't that deep, bro. It ain't that deep, bro. You wouldn't want to be caught thought slopping. And I don't mean THOT. That's a different type. That's a different type of thought slopping. That's a whole different thing. That's not the thought I'm talking about, okay? That's not the thought I have. But it's this smugness that's just so trite at this point. It's also with the maxing crowd. Everyone's trying to add maxing to everything now. It's like they're fucking accountants, and they're like, I'm accountant maxing. Shut the fuck up. Just, they go get a tan. Like, I'm vitamin D max. Shut the fuck up. Dear God. Have mercy on us. You know what? Maybe the slop maesters are correct when they say we deserve the storm that's coming. If you check the comments under these videos, where these two videos I checked out, one from Type 2 Productions and the other from this guy Drydes. I don't know. I don't have the name in front of me. I'll put it up on the screen. At any rate, if you check the comments on there, there's a few people saying we deserve the storm that's coming. And I might agree with that if I have to hear one more stupid millennial, my generation, trying to keep up with the youth in some goofy-ass way like this. It is ad nauseum. It is ad nauseum at this point. But the slop guys, too. Okay? Now, I might agree we deserve the storm that's coming, but for different reasons. Crimson Desert is not the reason we deserve the storm that's coming. So this was a common remark I saw under each video. They reviewed the games very poorly. They hated the game. They hate the game. They hate the game. Type 2 didn't even finish the game. They uninstalled it. But at any rate, I recommend checking out the videos because, a lot of what they say is true. I had some good laughs watching it because I was just like, yep, I can't refute that. Can't refute that. They're right about that. And it's funny because they're so mad about it, and I'm not that mad about it. That's all. It's true, but I'm just not as mad about it as they are. And I wonder if that has something to do with an overall approach to a game like this. And does your approach matter in how much fun you're going to have? Now, like I said, Type 2 didn't even beat the game. They uninstalled it, they deleted it, but they did clock a time of like 45 hours or something. but they were showing footage of them like finding trains and riding dragons. So they were moving through the story very quickly within 45 hours. I haven't seen any of that stuff. I'm in Hernan for over 100 hours. Like, I've doubled their time and I'm in one zone. So there's a fundamental different approach to how to enjoy the game. And I'm enjoying the game, right? So maybe there's some truth to this, right? Like, if you just take a little time to breathe it all in, you might find the enjoyment you're looking for. But of course, now that I say that, people are going to roast me and say, well, you're just saying the game gets good after 1,000 hours again, like everybody else. And that's not what I'm saying. I am saying it might take a particular mindset depending on the category of game, on how you approach it. For example, I love Armored Core 6. To me, a better game than Elden Ring, a better game than a lot of From Software's catalog, a better game's game. I won't even play Elden Ring twice. I didn't even get the DLC. Oh, I know, blasphemous. No, I didn't even get the DLC. I was so burnt out by the bloat of that game by the end. But I beat Armored Core 6 like 4 times. I put hundreds of hours into the PvP. I got those S ranks at least 3 or 4 times on non-meta builds. So if you even know what I'm talking about, that's how you know I'm legit, okay? I loved that game. And quite frankly, that game loved me. All right, let's just be honest. That game loved me, okay? Even though I put so much time into that game, it's really hard to recommend to people that don't have a predisposition, what you might call a mindset, to pilot a mech and select all of its parts and make all these kind of micro adjustments to how it runs. Despite it being a very good game, as a game, it's not like you can just say, hey, you should play this game to a certain type of crowd, you know, because you really have to have that niche desire to want to pilot a mech. It's not a typical kind of game in that sense. It's a very specific type of game. And so you have to want what the world is offering. And to me, what I'm gathering from these negative reviews, although they're correct on many of their points, I do feel there's a just lack of desire for what the world is offering. Like, maybe they do like medieval fantasies. I'm a sucker for medieval fantasy, so here I am playing Crimson Desert, but I'm admittedly a sucker for that kind of stuff. But the world, I'm up for the world's offering in the sense that I'm here to experience it all like I'm there. And these guys playing 45 hours of it, going all the way across the map, I feel like they're not up for what the world is offering in that sense. They don't want to embrace the atmosphere of the world because they're upset about having to do L1 to square and they couldn't light their bow on fire very easily. And even though you could have blind flashed the vines off the tower, they'll be like, well, the game didn't tell you that. The game doesn't tell you that. You know how many things I figured out in this game that it doesn't tell me? I don't look up anything. And I'm not saying that's a plus necessarily, but I will say it is a plus to the satisfaction level once you actually figure things out, you know. But these guys, and I'm quoting here, would rather work in a cubicle than ever play this game again. So the guys who think this is total slop would rather have a slop job than experience this. But here I am, up for it. I'm a sucker. To me, I'm involved in this game because I'm already sold on the atmosphere. I want to be in that world. And so, yes, the game has flaws, but I'm willing to overlook it because the game is crossing certain thresholds. And it's important to make that point because very easily we could say, well, as long as you change your mindset, we could just go around in circles and circles forever. As long as you change your mindset, any game can be fun. And that's not what I'm saying, because there is thresholds that need to be crossed. And it's in that intersection, in that crossing, where you find what's worthwhile in the game. And that's going to have a lot to do with the presentation of the game. That's one thing. That's one threshold. It's going to have a lot to do with the combat. It's going to have a lot to do to how authentic it feels and detailed. And what are the animations like? These are my thresholds. you know. So it might be a little different depending on who you are, but because like I said, I enjoy Armored Core 6, but is that going to cross a threshold for a certain type of person? No, because it's automatically mechs. You know, you gotta be up for that. So if that makes sense, I hope I'm making sense here with that. But I don't want it to be misconstrued that a game is bad because the people who reviewed it as a bad game actually weren't up for a huge part of the game's offering, which is its world to immerse in. And I'm not saying they weren't, having their approach to immersion in their own way, but it's just hard to, when I spend 100 hours in one area and they go through the game 45 hours across the entire map, it's just hard to say what the level of immersion is. And they can't get immersed because they're obsessed with the mechanics failing them. And although I agree, I just don't agree to the same level that the mechanics are a failure. I agree that they have problems. I just don't agree to the entire level that this game is garbage because of that. And I do believe the controls are countered by how great this open world is, how detailed it is, how great the music is, how fun the combat is. I do believe it counters those things once you get your wrangle on the controls. But if you're going to try and bum rush through everything to get a review out there, I can understand why this game would be frustrating, because the mechanics are frustrating for many people to get accustomed to, as I've already had a whole video about. I didn't necessarily have a huge problem with it. You just accept it for what it is. It is this. Okay, so you have to do L1 to square. Okay, fine. But a lot of the critiques are still correct, like cooking is useless. I agree. Cooking is no, it's not useless. It's a waste of time. I think it's a bloated feature, and I don't want to actually do it when I'm in the game. It's a very unfun thing to do. You got to watch the animations. So don't love that. I would say cut it out of the game completely, honestly, because it is shallow, like they said. There's nothing special about it, nothing unique going on, nothing that requires much thought. You just gotta gather the things and press a couple buttons to get it made. So anyway, it's just little things like that. It's like, yeah, true. Sometimes the targeting's all messed up when you want to talk to an NPC. True. But I just don't get that pissed off, I guess. I'm okay going through these zones slower and pacing myself, and so I can't talk to him at this angle. Let me move around a little bit. There it is. Like, I'm just not freaking out about it. That's all. They had the opposite approach, which is this isn't working fast enough in every single aspect. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like their approach to it was just very a little bit of a tunnel vision, a little bit of a I'm ready to hate this. And it just kind of snowballs when you have one thing that frustrates you and it keeps frustrating you. More and more things will start to snowball on top of that. It reminds me of when I worked with someone who hated this new guy that started with us. They hated the way they were breathing at a certain point because that's how much it had snowballed from day one. It starts to get like irrational in a certain way because it gets easier. It's like, well, this guy's already frustrating me. Now everything's frustrating me. I hate the way he laughs. I hate the way he's working too hard. He's, whatever it is. It annoys me. And so it becomes easier and easier to find the things that you don't like about something when you've already got that opening. And they found those openings really quick. So that's all I want to say about that. I'm not even, again, I don't really have any ill will towards those guys. It's their opinions are, fine. My only issue is that they're fairly black-pilled. They've got some AI slop goggles on. AI slop goggles. They've got some slop goggles on a little bit, where everything they see is slop and games were better way back when, et cetera, et cetera. So they refuse to see any good in this game, and I just okay, wow. Yes, right as I'm making the point that there's some good in this game and it's not all slop, this guy comes glitched out through the fucking fence like that. Thanks, Unka. Yeah, great. Real good. Real good. Really helping me prove my point here. This video is basically null and void now. Anyway, the videos were pretty entertaining. I had some laughs. I think you will too if you check them out. And I would just like to clear the air on other comments I'm seeing online about, people saying it's a game that doesn't have DEI, or it's an anti-woke game because, IGN hates it and all that stuff. And I would just like to clear the air and say that is not why I like games. Is it preferred that games are just what they are and what they should be without these added on requirements such as DEI or, all that stuff? Yes, it's preferred. I don't like that stuff either, but I'm not going to decide if a game is good or not on that factor alone. I've been seeing the scale maesters, the slop maesters, use that against the positive reviewers of Crimson Desert as well, saying you only like it because it's anti-woke or something like that, which I don't think it's even anything in the realm of being political necessarily, unless you want to go down the goblins or Jews route like the God of War guy did. Well, I was going to do a video on that, but maybe next time. At any rate, before I get into that, that's all I wanted to say about the slop thing, the slop trend. Everything is slop. Figure out the new term, add slop to it, and you've got yourself a point. It's this whole air of I know something you don't. Oh, you see a big map, you're a sucker for scale slop. And this is it's just so tiresome. I don't know what they're mad about exactly. The scale slop guy was replying or quote tweeting a video a guy posted about, I've never seen a game do this before, which honestly is just as bad as a fucking post. Let's be honest. This is part of the problem. I don't care if it's positive. This is a slop post. I don't care if it's a positive slop post. It's a vague, intentionally vague video where he says, I've never seen a game do this before. Do what? What are you talking about? Oh, you're trying to get me to engage with you. Fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck that shit. It's got to stop. I know it's not going to stop, but I will scream at the clouds regardless. I'll be that guy. We deserve the storm that's coming, God damn it. So where are my slop goggles? Where did I put them? Because I can't look at one more post like this type of intentionally vague, corny comfort post from these people. Oh, I've never seen a game. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Never seen it. Getting all teary-eyed about it. Never seen. They think they're in a dream or something. Dude, just stop. And there really is a great big annoyance I'm getting from actually the positive crowd on Crimson Desert because they're so cheesy about it. Everyone's getting all chummy, all teary-eyed in there. This brings me back to when I was playing Skyrim for the first time. And that's fine. But can we not wax poetic about it like this is some monumental moment in your life? And it's going to be fun and I'm enjoying it too, but I'm not going to be I'm not writing this down in my diary and that was the first day I stepped foot into Skyrim. I understand there's a certain time and place for games, and so people get wrapped up in that, and they like to believe they're experiencing that again. They like to believe it. They want it to happen. They actively seek it to happen, and so they might even warp their own perception a little bit on it happening. But we have to remember it's never going to be the same as when it was when we were kids. Never. I liked Skyrim too, but I'm not sitting here trying to transpose some nostalgia feelings of the past onto this new game. I've said this before, but I watched a video just earlier about a guy that was, had some dramatic music playing, and he was waxing poetic on his memories with Skyrim and how Crimson Desert has done that again for him. And it's okay. I mean, that's fine. I just want to know why it matters. How does that actually matter for the experience you have with Crimson Desert? Has having played Skyrim made Crimson Desert a better game? I mean, I think it's safe to assume that's not really possible. There's thousands of open world games that are not better because we've played Skyrim before. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I mean. It's just it's kind of this tired, remember this, nostalgia bait that, remember that. That's what this is doing. This is what it's done. It's exactly like that again. In the reality, it's not that again. It isn't. You might be approaching it the same way, but it is not the same thing. And the only reason you are enjoying it and coming up with the ideas that it is this Skyrim adventure once again for you is because the game is fun. If it wasn't fun, you wouldn't be saying that, right? So it's really nothing like Skyrim. And that goes for the everything is slop crowd too. I know, it's not Spyro the Dragon. I'm sorry. It's not fucking Spyro the Dragon, okay? I know. We apologize, okay? It's not Spyro the Dragon, but guess what? The pendulum isn't swinging back, is it? I mean, I know. You guys know that. That's why you're black-pilled. That's why everything is slop to you. So you just see that the fact that you can't go back. You see then at the fact that you can't go back. So what's it going to be? You're going to curl up and die? You're going to say, I'm tired, boss. You're going to curl up and die? We deserve the storm that's coming. So curl up and die then. My goodness. I think that's all I'm going to say about that on this one. Not sure what else I could say. I was going to get into the whole art direction debate going on right now. I'll do another video on that because I got plenty to say about that as well. So until then, all the best, people. Like, share, subscribe. That's all I've got to say. That's all I can say. All the best. Bye.